Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Job, the 40th chapter. Moreover, the Lord answered Job and said, Shall he that contendeth with the Almighty instruct him? He that reproveth God, let him answer it. Ooh-wee. NLT, do you still want to argue with the Almighty? You are God's critic, but do you have the answers? Then Job answered the Lord and said, Behold, I am vile. What shall I answer thee? I will lay my hand upon my mouth. So you know what? You're right. You got it. I have no more. I ain't got no words. Once I have spoken, but I will not answer. Yea, twice, but I will proceed no further. So he's saying he already spoke once. I already spoke too much. Right? NIV, I spoke once, but I have no answer. Twice, but I will say no more. Right? NLT, I have said too much already. I have nothing more to say. Verse 6, Then answered the Lord unto Job out of the whirlwind and said, Gird up now, or gird up thy loins now like a man. I will demand of thee and declare thou unto me. So no, you gotta stand firm. You gotta stand hard like a man and answer these questions I got for you. Wilt thou also disannul my judgment? Wilt thou condemn me, that thou mayest be righteous? Will you discredit, NLT, will you discredit my justice and condemn me just to prove you are right? Hast thou an arm like God? Are you as powerful as God? Or canst thou thunder with a voice like him? Deck thyself now with majesty and excellence, and array thyself with glory and beauty. Go ahead. Show us your majesty. Show us your excellence. Cast abroad the rage of thy wrath, and behold every one that is proud and abase him. So go ahead. Send forth your wrath and humble everybody, all the proud. Right? NKJV, disperse the rage of your wrath. Look on everyone who is proud and humble him. Verse 12, look on everyone that is proud and bring him low, and tread down the wicked in their place. Hide them in the dust together, which is like bury them, and bind their their faces in secret. NIV, bury them all in the dust together, shroud their faces in the grave, since you're so powerful. Then will I also confess unto thee that thine own right hand can save thee. Right? So that you do that, you show me that, then I'll give you some props. Right? NIV, it says, then I myself will admit to you that your own right hand can save you. NLT, then even I would praise you, for your own strength would save you. But guess what? You can't. Verse 15, behold now behemoth. All right, so now the Lord goes into, from I believe from the rest of this chapter into chapter 41. It's basically the Lord describing some of his most indescribable creatures, right, as part of his creation. And when you go into the word behemoth, it really describes dinosaurs, okay, or creatures that we consider to be dinosaurs. When you go into that word, right, it says here, perhaps an extinct dinosaur, a Diplodocus or Brachiosaurus, exact meaning unknown. So we don't know exactly what type. Maybe the Lord is describing a variety of them, okay, but we know whatever type it is here, it's one of those powerhouses. And before the Lord goes on to describe Leviathan, of course, which at that point. So it says here, verse 15, behold now behemoth, which I have made with thee, he eateth grass as an ox. Lo, now his strength is in his loins, and his force is is in the navel of his belly. It says here, see its powerful loins and the muscles of its belly. He moveth his tail like a cedar. The sinews of his stones are wrapped together. And a cedar, like a cedar tree, okay, I mean, that's For an animal's tail to be moved like that with that strength or force, that's some dangerous work right there. All right, it says here, NLT, its tail is as strong as a cedar. The sinews of his thighs are knit tightly together. His bones are as strong as pieces of brass. His bones are like bars of iron. He is the chief of the ways of God. He that made him can make his sword to approach unto him. What this is saying, this is one of the top one of the top creations that the Lord has, right? It says in the NLT, it is a prime example of God's handiwork, and only its creator can threaten it. That's the make his sword to approach unto him. Surely the mountains bring him forth food, where all the beasts of the field play. He lieth under the shady trees, in the covert of the reed and fences. The shady trees cover him with their shadow. The willows of the brook compass him about. It says here, the lotuses conceal it in their shadow. The poplars by the stream surround it. Behold, he drinketh up a river, and hasteth not. He trusted that he can draw up Jordan into his mouth. Let's go into some of these words here. Let's actually look at the NKJV. It says, indeed, the river may rage, yet he is not disturbed. He is confident, though the Jordan gushes into his mouth. It says, the ESV, behold, if the river is turbulent, he is not frightened. He is confident, though Jordan rushes against his mouth. And that's because when you look into that word drinketh, as opposed to like actually drinking water, right? It goes here into, as it says, to press upon, to oppress, violate. Let me see if that's the right word here. Yep, drinketh up. Yeah, so it's the word here that's being used is not what you would expect as in like somebody like actually just drinking. But let's see what we have here in the Chaldee lexicon. To oppress, that's not what we're looking for. And to defraud, no. To be proud. Okay, it says to be proud, insolent. 3, metaphor of a river overflowing its banks, going into Job 40 and 23. So when it says he drinketh, that's why the other translations really have it more as when the water, rages or is disturbed, he is not afraid of that, right? It doesn't bother him, or it doesn't bother it. So reading in the NIV again, it says, a raging river does not alarm it. It is secure, though the Jordan should surge against its mouth. Okay. And if the Jordan was to overflow, that doesn't trouble it. He taketh it with his eyes. His nose pierceth through snares. NIV, can anyone capture it by the eyes or trap it and pierce its nose? And that brings us to the end of the book of Job, the 40th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.